don't even know where I'm supposed to start. Like, I want to talk about, a lot of it kind of ties into, am I recording? I guess I should start with the song. Lose Control came out last Friday, and releasing that song took a lot out of me, and I took the time to sit and figure out why. And it's because after the mix came out, so after we recorded vocals, or before the mix came out, when we recorded vocals and I heard like the first demo with my vocals on there before editing or anything, or mixing and mastering, I couldn't get over the sound of my own voice. And there was no option to re-record because I didn't know what it was that I couldn't get over about my voice. So I just, ignored that and sent like my corrections for the mix and mastering and whatever. And I ended up feeling like I let my own song down. Like I felt like my vocal performance didn't match up to the amount of effort and time that I put into making that beat, and the amount of excitement, because I remember I spent a lot of time on that beat before I presented it to my producer for us to work on, and I was so excited for it. And I also think, because I talk about a lot of the stuff that I talk about on here, I've already talked to like my musician friends or my producers about, just to get other perspectives and just like get my thoughts out, and then I kind of sit with it again and like talk about it on here. But when I was making Lose Control, the beat, the first time, I had a specific reference track in mind, and I wrote the melodies and the harmonies and stuff with that in mind, with that reference track in mind, so that style of singing. And right up until I went into the recording, went to record to my producer's place, I was intending on singing it that way. So I was kind of fully locked into that style. I fully understood. I had practiced that style beforehand. And I don't remember what happened. I think maybe I had sent the two versions, so singing it one way and singing it another way, to my producer, and they were like, oh, I kind of like this one. And even though always go with your first choice, like, or your gut feeling, just always, because I knew how, and this isn't like, this is in no regard to anyone who gave me opinions or ideas or anything like that, but always go with your first choice, or your initial choice, like that gut feeling, because I received like some feedback on like which style I should go for, and literally the night before and then that morning of, I switched the entire cadence for the melody, and then switched the lyrics, and ended up having to rewrite the lyrics to match the new melody, even though I had practiced the old melody for so long. And I say all that to say, one, I hadn't practiced the new melody that I came up with, or how to sing it, or how I would sound. I fully knew how the previous melody was going to sound in my head and how my voice needed to perform to do that. And so the day of recording, I was recording with a new idea that I wasn't even like, I had no reference for it. So I didn't know how to manipulate my voice to get it where I wanted it to get. And it was the whole thing too, like, the verses. I think only one part of Lose Control keeps the original cadence, and I think that was a mistake on my part. I should have went with my original idea, because that song, when I make beats, usually I've already conceptualized the style and how I want to sing it, and how that kind of ties into the overall expression of the song. And so I think switching from that decision, because I was unsure of myself, and sometimes when I'm unsure of myself, I ask for advice, but it's because I'm just too scared to go with my opinion. And if I get that advice and it doesn't match my opinion, then I'm gonna go with the other person's advice, almost always. So then, we recorded. It's a long day. We recorded, and I got just the demo back, and I was like, okay, my voice is a little but the thing is, it's so much like money and time goes into recording, so it's not ideal for me as an independent artist to say, hey, let's scrap that and re-record. And also because I want to get music out, I didn't think that was the right thing to do. I think sometimes you might be, if you're unsatisfied with your performance as a new artist, you just need to learn from that experience but still release things, because I don't have a very big catalog, and I also don't have a really big audience, so I'm allowed to make those trial and error mistakes or things like that. So and sometimes the things that I hear, other people might not hear. So all that to say, I got back the master, set my like corrections or whatever, and got the final master, and I loved the changes to the beat. I loved it, but my voice was glaringly mocking me. Anyway, uploaded it and everything, and was filled with a sense of disappointment in myself when it was time to release, because I feel like I let my beat down, my beat. I feel like I let my song down because I didn't trust myself, and that lack of trust in myself led to mistakes and decisions that didn't bring out my full potential. I knew what style was going to bring out my full potential, and I was too scared to do it, so I didn't do it. And I felt like my vocal performance didn't match up to how great I thought the song itself was, and the story and the lyrics and all of that. And I was really quite upset and sad, and it sucks because that day, like, my friends knew it was releasing, and I just wasn't excited because I didn't want to hear my voice. Like, I didn't want to play it and hear my voice play back, because I was like, oh, this is so bad. And this has nothing to do with how my voice was mixed or mastered or produced or anything like that. It's solely my vocal delivery. And it took me a couple days to figure out what exactly I didn't like about the delivery, or what I could have changed, which is why initially when I got the first demo back, I didn't know what I didn't like yet. And after some days of thinking and going over it, I realized now that I just liked my original thought better, and I was solid in that and sure in that, and just hearing something else was I hadn't had the time to work through the new melodies and stuff, so that I knew what I delivered, I would like how it sounded. So that all to say, trial and error. You learn from these things. This was not and I was talking to my producer about this was not the time to pull back completely and say I'm not releasing this song, because it was either don't release it or re-record, and those weren't options. Maybe some way along the road where like I have better budgeting for myself, or better like income for myself, I can say, hey, let's re-record this. I just don't like it. Let me pick a better day or something. But as a newer artist, I need to get stuff out. And that means being okay with where I am now and working on how to get better with each and every project. So I'm okay with it now. Or I'm learning to be okay with it now. It's out. There's nothing we can do about it. But I think I need to tap in more into how excited I was when I made it, how excited I was for the story, and just make sure that I don't put myself in this position again, because regret is not a good thing to have. And I don't think I want that. I want to be, that's the thing. When Sour Grapes came out, I had no issues with my vocals on it, because I was confident in my delivery, because I knew what I was trying to deliver and convey. And so I knew that at that point, that was the best I could do it, but I knew it matched the song. With Lose Control, I don't think it was probably the best I could do it, but I didn't know if it matched, and I was very unsure. There was a lot of disconnect at that point because I had changed what I had already thought about, which already connected with the song. So I know better now, but with Lose Control, that just wasn't the case. I was really locked in, and so I want to focus now on how much the song means to me and how much I like it versus, you know, this little mistake. And like, I might hear it every single time I play this song, but when I perform it, all of that is like, that comes down to me. And the growth that I have now, and the growth that I start accumulating from this experience, every time I perform this song, it's going to be better and better and better and better. And as someone who focuses on performance more, I think that's kind of a balm over the wound, because I know I can perform this no problem. And I think I also realized that with Sour Grapes at some point, that I can perform this no problem. So I just have to prove that on stage. Even if I think, maybe people might hear this and think the vocal delivery is weak, but when I see me perform it, they're gonna be like, this is sick. So yeah, because all of this was making me hesitant to perform the song next week, which is my literal like goal. And so I think it'll be okay. I love this song. The lyrics are really important to me. The story is really important to me. And I don't want to feel this kind of hesitation or disdain for my art. I don't like that. So I think from now on, I'm going to be very intentional and straightforward about my choices, and just make sure that I'm making choices that I want to and that I like, and trusting in myself and my vision, I think, a little bit more. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully perform the song on Friday. Try not to stress myself about practicing it until Friday, but I think I'm still gonna, you know, perform it on Friday like I've intended to, and just grow from it. So if you haven't heard it, should maybe go listen to it. I'll probably talk about the lyrics and stuff a little bit later. It's a lot. But yeah, I just wanted to reflect on the release because it took a lot out of me emotionally. And so as always, I take the time to reflect on it, talk to some friends, reflect again, and then come and share. So yeah, that's Lose Control's little bits. Thanks. Bye.